Right. When the earth started its formation from the 4.5 billion years, many changes took place in its formation. First, it was in the form of swirling dust and clouds. Then slowly and steadily it turned to the molten rock material. Then earth was in the molten rock material. It was hit by the massive rocks. It was bombarded with that, and earth started expanding out. Then after this, what happened? The heavier materials of the earth, like while we are boiling out a soup, in the same style, the heavier materials of that molten rock material, it went down and formed a layer in the interior that only we are calling as a core. Then afterwards, the light heavier particles, they accumulated in the middle and formed a middle layer called as mantle. And above this, all the lighter particles of that molten material, they formed like a layer, like a cream of a milk, which we are calling as a crust. So, when that crust we are calling now as the lithosphere, when it was formed out, on that landmass only two features were present. That was landmass and the water mass. That landmass were called as continents and that water mass were called as oceans. So, these are called as first order landforms. What are the first order landforms? Why they were called so? If the question is asked, you have to write this. Because when the crust was formed out, in the initial stages of its formation, only two masses were formed. One is the land mass and one is water mass. And that land mass was called as continents, this water mass called as oceans. As they were the first formed features, we are calling them as first order landforms. Right, completed. Then coming to the next topic. When earth was forming out, what I said, that lighter particles formed like a layer around the earth and formed the crust, just now I said, no. So when the formation was taking place, when that formed out, in the lower layers, that molten rock material, it started cooling slowly and steadily. Because of that cooling, what happened? The outer crust started contracting like this. With this, wrinkles were developed on the crust. Some ridges were developed. Some table-like lands developed. Some deep valleys developed. That is, commonly we call these features as mountains, plains, plateaus, valleys, basins, etc. They were called as second order landforms. Next, coming to zigzag puzzle and the moving plates. Zigzag puzzle, it is nothing but when you are in the primary arena, your teacher or your mama might have given you some playing card like pieces, and she might have asked you to join them and form into a structure. That is very easily, let me explain to you that a piece of the cardboard structure on which some drawings were made out and they were cut very neatly and they will be made out here and there, and your mama or your teacher might have given to you and said to you to set it properly. Then you might have organized it in an organized manner. That is, it was like a puzzle, but you organized it in the organized manner. That is called as zigzag puzzle. Here, why did I brought light that zigzag puzzle means? First, actually, when the scientist, here we should again go back to our first lesson, that is continental drift theory. Let me recollect that to you. In 1912, one German geophysicist by name Alfred Wegener, he propounded a theory called as continental drift. So according to him, what was the earth 220 million years back in the Mesozoic era means? Just entire land mass was accumulated as one piece, around it water was accumulated. And he called that supercontinent as Pangaea. Later what he said, because of some movements in the interior layers of the earth, because of a shallow sea by name Tethys Sea, that divided that supercontinent Pangaea into two parts. Northern part was called Laurasia, south part was called as Gondwana. And north part consists of North America, Europe, and what do we say, that all the Greenland, all the countries above India also. Then Gondwana land, this south part, it consists of South America, Africa, India, West Indies, Australia, New Zealand. He said that. That is, they said like that, and they also explained, in that theory it was also explained that, that is many years, million years passed by the continents and oceans to come to this present position. But after studying about the earth carefully, after years of study, careful study of the earth by the geologists, they have come to some conclusion these all the continents or oceans, whatever it may be, they are present on a massive rock plates. That is, all the oceans and continents, they are situated on a massive base of rocks, and they called them as tectonic plates. They call them as tectonic plates. What are tectonic plates? If the question is asked, that continents and the oceans, they are formed on the massive rock bases. They are called as plates or tectonic plates, we can call it as. Right. The word tecton, again it is derived from the Greek word, and the meaning of the tecton is carpenter or builder. Carpenter or builder, they will build out something, no? Right. So here, according to the geologists, all these continents and oceans are present on the 7 major tectonic plates. I will name the tectonic plates. North American plate, South American plate, Eurasian plate, African plate, Indo-Australian plate, Pacific plate, Antarctica plate. 7 plates I said to you. North America, first plate. South America, second. Eurasian plate, means Europe and Russia, that is the third one. And African plate, fourth one. Indo-Australian, fifth one. Pacific plate, sixth one. Antarctica plate, 7. 7 plates, 7 major plates and 2 minor plates, that is Nazi and Saudi Arabia. That is, see, on North American plate, North America continent is present. South America plate means South America continent is present. An African plate, African continent is present. And next one, Eurasia I said, that is Europe and Russia, that is present. Indo-Australian plate means our India and Australia. Why it is called like that, I have explained to you. First, our India was very near to Australian plates. Later, our India separated from Australian plate and moved to the north side, and now it is hitting the Eurasian plate. And next, Antarctica, here it is present. Antarctican plate, on this that continent is located, and the Pacific plate. And Arabian plate means Saudi Arabia, that part is located on that. That means the land masses are present on that particular tectonic plates. Now, what will happen? Actually, these plates slowly they will move. They will push each other. These movements of the plates are called as tectonic movements, they were called as. Actually, they move in such slowly that we the people can't recognize this also. In such a manner, they will move very slowly and steadily. This is about the moving plates. Okay, you have to remember the points that all the oceans and continents are present on a massive rock plates called as tectonic plates, massive base of rocks called plates. And there are 7 major plates, 2 minor plates. And what are that 7 major plates? North America, South America, Africa, Eurasia, Indo-Australian and Pacific plates. 2 minor plates are Nazia and Saudi Arabia. These tectonic plates, these plates, they will float on mantle. They will float on mantle like this. And they will move slowly also. They will push each other also. They will collide with each other also. But the movement was such slow that we can't recognize that. In this way, they start moving each other. They start pushing each other. Right. Who pushes them? Let us read in the seafloor spreading. In seafloor spreading, if you come, geologists, again they started studying about the earth, crust first. I said that crust is the topmost layer of the earth. It extends up to 30 to 100 kilometers. It was divided into upper layer and the lower layer. Upper layer forms out continents. Lower layers consist of ocean floor. I think you are recollecting now. Right? So, this crust, when you look out this crust, geologists are conducting experiments continuously on the crust under the sea actually. Then they got to light that, geologists discovered that under the sea, under the ocean, especially Pacific Ocean, they have found some ridges or ranges. Ranges means somewhat high places like mountains, we can say that ranges, mountain ranges we will call, no? Such type of the ranges are present in the Pacific Ocean. Now the question arises that how do they formed? How do that ranges formed in that big ocean floor, that is Pacific Ocean? Whatever it may be, Pacific I took as example. Okay, how do they formed? Again scientists explain that how do they formed. How do they formed means Pacific Ocean. All of you know that Pacific is called as a ring of fire. That is, in the Pacific Ocean, huge number of the volcanic eras are present. And you know volcanoes means when the volcano bursts, first that molten rock material, magma flows inside the volcano, cone-shaped volcano. Then when that magma comes out, it flows like a liquid form called as lava. That lava, if it flows on the surface of the earth, it burns everything, whatever will come in its way. But after some year, it cools, it solidifies and forms into a beautiful soil called as black cotton soil. We found that in our Maharashtra and in our Andaman, Baran and Narkundam Islands and Cotopaxi, like that names also you might have found. Fusiyama, Mount Fusiyama in Japan, like that. So, if it occurs on the earth means volcanoes, eruption, all that we will read. But do you know, in the Pacific Ocean also, these ranges are formed. How do they formed means, when the volcanoes erupted out, the lava was flown and the lava was cooled and solidified and form a new crust. And this new crust started moving, pushing each other. That is, the sea floor started expanding out. This is called as seafloor spreading. If it happens between the two places, very easily the gap will be found out and we can understand it very easily. Next, drama at the margins. That is, on one side of this tectonic plate, seafloor is spreading. On the other side, what is happening? I have said about 7 major tectonic plates are there and 2 minor tectonic plates are there. These plates are moving, I said. When these plates move against each other, a high geological activity will take place. When they hit with each other, when the plates will collide with each other like this, high pressure will evolve out. With this, new formations will take place. Let me say one example to you here. Actually, our Indian plate, India was with the Australian plate. Then what happened? Due to the vibrations in the interior layers of the earth, our Indian plate separated from Australia. If you keenly observe the world map, you can see that in the coastal areas of Andhra Pradesh and the West Bengal and Bangladesh, if you look out, Australia will be fixed very conveniently. So, with that indication, we can say out that Indian plate was separated from this. No need to prove anything for the common people like us. Right? So, the Indian plate separated from the Australian plate from the Gondwana land and it started moving towards the north side, Laurasia or Angara land. After moving, that is Indian plate, it moved towards the north. And in the first lesson, we read that the supercontinent Pangaea was separated because of a shallow sea by name Tethys Sea. You might have remembered this, right? Then India moved to the north side. After moving to the north, Indian plate started colliding with the Eurasian plate like this. Collision takes place. When Indian plate was colliding with the Eurasian plate like this, so between these two plates, sea, that is Tethys Sea was present, no? When the collision was taking place, the Indian plate went under the Eurasian plate like this. Indian plate went under. This is Eurasian plate, this is Indian plate. So Indian plate went under the Eurasian plate like this. When this has gone, this Indian plate, this part of the Indian plate which went under the Eurasian plate, it went into the mantle, and because of the high temperature of the mantle, I have explained to you about mantle. Because of high temperature of the mantle, thus that part turned into molten rock material again. So it went under like this. Then what will happen here with this collision, that is the Tethys Sea, in the Tethys Sea. Whatever with this, the Tethys Sea came up like this. Water was flown away, and the sediments which are present in that particular Tethys Sea, either it may be the dead animal skeleton or the coral reefs or the salt particles or the sandy particles, whatever it may be, the deposits which are presented in the Tethys Sea, they buckled up and formed into present day folded Himalayan mountains. How they will be means, like take for example, if you keep a cloth on the table and if you pull it very fastly like this, it will come with a zigzag folds. In that way, these two plates hit like this, and that is our North Indian plate went under it, and Eurasian plate rooted up, Tethys Sea was flown away, and sediments buckled and formed into Himalayan mountains. That is, when the two plates will collide like this, either some part will go down, some part will come up. Some parts will go down, some new parts will come up, like Himalayan chain of mountains. Now also in the present day scenario, if you look out, many new formations are taking place because of these collisions, volcanic eruptions or the earthquakes. Take for example, when the volcano will erupt out, the lava flows out and a new floor will be formed, that is crust will be formed, that is a new island came into existence. For example, New Moor Island between India and Bangladesh boundaries it will be. That was actually before it was not there. Because of the volcanic eruptions, the lava was flown out and that island was formed out. That is a new formation of the crust. And because of the earthquakes, if you look out, some place will go down and some place will come up. You might have read in the Telugu books like about the Dwaraka, Sri Krishna's Dwaraka. It was there, but now it is not there because of the subduction of the crust. That is, it is subdued because of the movement of these plates. So in this way, this movement of the plates will subdue some areas, will create some new areas also. That's all for this session 1 of lesson 2. Let me brief the points of this. The first order landforms means the landforms are the forms, the features which were formed when first earth crust was formed. Example, continents and oceans. Second order, when the topmost crust was formed, the interior molten rock material, it started cooling. With that, crust contracted and wrinkles and ridges were developed. That resulted in the mountains, plains, plateaus, valleys, etc. They were called as second order landforms. And geologists were of the view that the earth and the oceans were built on the massive rocks called as plates. There were 7 major plates, 2 minor plates. They are North America, South America, Eurasia, Indo-Australian, African, Pacific and Antarctica. 7 plates. So on these 7 plates, the continents are located. And they will float on the mantle, the second layer of the earth's surface. And they will float in such a manner that we can't recognize that movement in such a manner, in such slow movement they will make out. Right. In seafloor, what you have to remember means, geologists observed that some ridges or some ranges are there in the Pacific Ocean. The question is, how do these ranges were formed? Because of the volcanic eruptions. Next, drama at the margins means just now I explained to you that how the plates will collide with each other, how the new formations will take place, how some areas will go down. Now also our Indian plate is colliding with the Eurasian plate according to the geologist view. Some time may come that maximum part of the North India may go under the Eurasian plate. In such a manner, India is colliding with the Eurasian plate. So, right, this is the first session of the second lesson. Let us wind up here, and the continuation of the lesson I will take in my second session. Thank you.